What you went through was not just an act of cruelty or manipulation. It was a direct assault on the core of your humanity. It went beyond merely inflicting emotional wounds or physical pain. Their true objective was far more sinister: to strip you of your sense of self, to make you feel isolated, inferior, and utterly disconnected from the world around you. Hurting you alone was never their end goal. They sought to break you so completely that you would no longer recognize yourself, that you would lose the strength to resist, and that your very existence would be reduced to a shadow of what it once was. They wanted to erode your dignity, your voice, and your will to fight back, leaving behind only a hollow shell of the person you once were. The nature of true cruelty is not simply about causing suffering, it is about erasure. It is about systematically dismantling the very essence of a person until they no longer feel worthy of love, respect, or even life itself. Those who inflicted this upon you were not satisfied with merely taking away your happiness or self-confidence. That was not enough for them. They wanted to steal your identity, to make you doubt everything you once believed about yourself, to sever the courage that once burned within you, and to make you question your own worth. Their actions were deliberate, calculated, and designed to make you feel small, powerless, and unimportant. They sought to disconnect you from others, to isolate you in a world where their voices became louder than your own thoughts, where their definition of you replaced the truth of who you are. Before we go ahead, it's a small request to please like the video and subscribe to the channel, so that we can reach more chosen ones. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further, consider becoming a member. Your support helps us grow and continue bringing meaningful content your way. One of the most insidious aspects of this kind of cruelty is how it creeps into your mind over time. It is not always an immediate realization, but rather a slow erosion of self-perception. At first, you might resist, fighting against the lies they fed you. But eventually, their relentless dismissal of your pain, their refusal to acknowledge your suffering, and their ability to make you feel invisible start to take a toll. You begin to internalize their distortions, seeing yourself as they intended, insignificant, helpless, and unworthy. They devalued your existence to the point where you may have even started to believe them. This is the most dangerous aspect of their cruelty. Not just what they did to you, but how they made you see yourself. But here is what they never understood. Dehumanization can only succeed if you allow it. They underestimated something far greater than their ability to harm you: the resilience of the human spirit. Your spirit. Yes, they may have stripped away your comforts. They may have taken away your sense of safety, your trust in others, and perhaps even your hope. But no matter how much they tried, they could never fully erase the essence of who you are. They could never completely take away your ability to rise again. They believed their power over you was absolute, but they failed to grasp the strength that still exists within you. Emerging from this kind of darkness is neither easy nor immediate. Healing takes time, and reclaiming your humanity is a battle fought in countless small victories. But every act of self-recovery, every step toward rebuilding yourself, is a defiant protest against their cruelty. Every moment you choose to stand back up, to find your voice, to rediscover your sense of worth, you are proving that their efforts to break you were not enough. You are the living proof that even the most relentless attempts to destroy someone can fail. They thought they had won. They believed they had shattered you beyond repair. They thought they had reduced you to nothing, that their actions had left you too broken to rise again. They were certain that you would crumble beneath the weight of everything they had thrown at you. The isolation, the manipulation, the relentless brutality. And maybe for a time you did. Maybe you fell. Maybe you doubted yourself. Maybe you reached a point where you thought you could never come back from the damage they inflicted. But here you are. You are still standing. You are still breathing, and that alone is more powerful than anything they ever imagined. Because despite everything, despite their efforts to erase you, to strip you of your humanity, to make you believe you were nothing, you are still here. And that is something they can never take away. You may have fallen deeper than you ever thought possible, sinking into a darkness so heavy that rising again seemed impossible. The weight of what they did, the burden they placed upon you, made it feel as if you would never stand up again. But you did. Somehow, despite everything, you rose. And that terrifies them. It is not just the fact that you survived. It is that you refuse to remain broken. They cannot fathom that kind of strength because they do not possess it themselves. Those who seek to break others do so out of weakness, not power. Their cruelty is not a display of strength but of fear. They attempt to crush your spirit because deep down they feel powerless. By projecting their own insecurities and unresolved pain onto you, they seek to escape their own internal torment. Yet when you emerge from the suffering stronger, wiser, and more determined than before, they are forced to confront something they have spent their entire lives avoiding: their own frailty. Your resilience exposes a truth they cannot bear. They would not have survived the same ordeal. They lack the endurance, the will, the depth of spirit that allowed you to rise. And for that, they despise you. They do not hate you because of anything you did. They hate you because your very existence is a mirror reflecting everything they wish to ignore about themselves. Your perseverance shatters the illusions they have carefully constructed to avoid facing their own weaknesses. Had you failed, it would have justified their own shortcomings, reassured them that survival was impossible, that overcoming was beyond reach. But you did not fail. Instead, you stood as undeniable proof that rising was always an option. And so, rather than face the reality your survival presents, they direct their anger toward you. They will attempt to dismiss your battle, calling it luck or coincidence. They will claim that you were spared unfairly or that you somehow had an advantage they did not. But deep down, they know the truth. They never truly took you seriously, never believed you had the strength to fight back. In their arrogance, they assumed they had written your ending. Yet, without realizing it, they set the stage for your greatest comeback. And nothing terrifies an abuser more than realizing they never truly had control over you. To be chosen is to be a mirror, not just someone who exists in the world, but someone who forces others to see themselves as they truly are. Your presence alone reflects their hidden fears, their unacknowledged flaws, their untapped strengths, and the painful truths they refuse to face. This is why people grow uneasy around you. It is not because of anything you have done, but because of what you reveal about them. Your courage magnifies their fear. Your strength highlights their complacency. Your resilience forces them to confront the darkness within themselves. And for those unwilling to face their own inner battles, it is easier to blame you than to acknowledge their own failings. This is why the chosen often experience resistance, resentment, and even outright hostility. It was never truly about you. It was always about what you represented. Your very existence challenges their carefully constructed illusions. And rather than embrace the truth, they project their frustrations onto you. It is far simpler for them to label you as the problem than to examine their own lives and confront the uncomfortable questions lurking beneath the surface. The truth is, being a mirror can be a lonely path. The very thing that makes you extraordinary is also what sets you apart. People will judge you, misunderstand you, and even despise you, not for anything you have done, but for the truths you expose simply by being who you are. But do not dim your light to make others comfortable. The world needs mirrors, no matter how unsettling they may be to those who refuse to see. For every person who rejects the reflection they see in you, there is another who finds inspiration in your journey. There is someone who, after witnessing your resilience, gathers the strength to confront their own darkness. That is what it truly means to be chosen, and that is their greatest fear. They tried to isolate you, to convince you that you were unworthy of love, respect, or even your own story. But their cruelty did more than cause pain. It revealed the depths of your strength. They tried to erase you, but you remain. And that, more than anything, is what they will never understand. True cruelty is not just about causing pain. It is about attempting to erase the very essence of the victim, to strip them of their significance, their presence, their voice. They tried to do that to you. They wanted you to feel small, invisible, and unimportant, as if your existence did not matter. What they never realized, however, is that you are far more than the suffering they tried to inflict. They believed they could reduce you to nothing, but they underestimated the resilience of your spirit. Yes, there were moments when hope seemed lost, when the darkness pressed in so tightly that it felt as if there was no escape. You may have believed, even for a time, that you had been broken beyond repair, but deep within you something resisted, a tiny, nearly imperceptible spark, a force that refused to be extinguished. Even in your lowest moments, that spark remained, waiting, growing stronger, guiding you back to yourself. Rebuilding from such devastation is neither a quick nor a linear process. There are days when uncertainty creeps back in, when the echoes of the past attempt to pull you back into silence and suffering. But every step you take forward is an act of defiance against those who sought to see you fall. Every choice to continue, every moment of self-belief, is living proof that they did not succeed. They thought they had won, yet your very existence haunts them. The simple fact that you are still here, that you refuse to disappear, is their greatest failure. The fear they feel is not about you personally. It is about what you represent. Your survival forces them to confront their own inadequacies, their own limitations. You are a mirror, reflecting back everything they could not be. Strength in the face of adversity, resilience in the wake of destruction, light emerging from darkness. That is the greatest victory of all. They attempted to shatter you, but all they did was forge you into something stronger. You do not walk as a victim. You move forward as a survivor, as living proof that even the deepest night cannot extinguish the dawn. But this story is far from over. Your journey is only beginning, and each chapter you write affirms everything they tried to steal from you. Your strength, your identity, your voice. And now, as you reclaim your life, you do something they never anticipated. You turn your pain into purpose. Every time you share your truth, you shine a light for others still trapped in the darkness. Your voice becomes a beacon, a guide for those who feel lost, proving to them that survival is possible, that healing is real. Those who sought to silence you never imagined that their cruelty would lead to the exact opposite. That you would find your voice, that you would use it not only for yourself but for others. You now understand that life is not just about survival, it is about truly living. About shaping your own path, about proving that you are far more than what was done to you. You have the power to redefine your own story, to rebuild a future that is entirely your own. And no matter how hard they tried, they can never take that from you. Each new day is another chance to begin again, to rediscover joy, to build a life that belongs to you. Not to them, not to the past, but to the future you choose to create. Give yourself permission to feel again, to trust in your own strength, to embrace the life you were always meant to live. You are not just someone who survived cruelty. You are someone who rose above it. You are proof that renewal is possible, that resilience is unbreakable, that even after the most profound suffering, life continues. And you were strong enough to survive. That means you are strong enough to thrive.